prove that the atheist doesn't exist, in other words, he's really not an atheist, he's an agnostic, someone who doesn't know if there's a God, we want to emphasize the principle of swinging from the intellect straight to the conscience. It's so important to know that by doing this, you're not sidestepping the questions of the atheist, but you have to learn that it's not wise to stay in the intellect and wrestle with someone intellectually, because it's going to take you down a rabbit trail and waste all your time. You've eventually got to get to the heart. A surgeon's not going to spend all his time working on your dandruff when he knows he needs to cut into the heart and get to where the real problem is. And that's what we do when we ask a person if they consider themselves to be a good person. We just deliberately make that turn and go for the conscience.
After you die, usually you go to the mortician. They put you in a coffin, then they put you in the ground, and then you rot.
So is there a spiritual life?
No, there's not.
Where do people go once they're put in the ground?
They just stay there. That's where they go. It's as simple as that.
So do you believe in God?
No, of course not. Why would you take a religious book and say, oh yeah, these have got to be true, this makes sense, when the people who wrote that book thousands of years ago, they were just superstitious and they didn't know how the world really worked.
Okay. Would you consider yourself to be a good person?
Yeah, of course, I'm a good person.
Have you ever told a lie?
No, I've never told a lie. Yeah, I mean, who hasn't?
What would that make you?
It would make me, it would make me a human being.
Well, if I told a lie, what would you call me?
Well, I would say you're a human being. I mean, we all lie, but okay, yeah, you're a liar.
Have you ever stolen anything?
No, I don't steal.
Have you taken anything that wasn't yours, regardless of the value?
Probably.
What would that make you?
It would make me a thief, and I'm going to go to hell for that.
Okay. Have you ever used God's name in vain?
Yeah.
Okay, that's called blasphemy. What's your name again?
Travis.
Travis. According to your own admission to me, you've lied, you've stolen, and you've blasphemed the God who gave you life. So, based on those, if he were to judge you based on those, would you be innocent or guilty?
I guess I'd be guilty.
Would you go to heaven or hell?
Assuming that such things exist and taking for granted that you believe in all that, I don't know, I guess I'd go to hell if that's where he sends people.
Does that concern you?
No, because I don't believe in it.
When you write a research paper or a thesis paper, what do you do?
Well, I do research, and I don't make things up. I don't say, oh well, this unexplained data must come from such and such. I mean,
and that's what I'm telling you today. If you research the Bible the way you do a research paper, and you study the claims that I've given you today, you'll find that they're true. I'm saying that Jesus Christ came 2,000 years ago. He paid the fine, the penalty. It's clear, being a liar, thief, and a blasphemer, that you've broken God's law. And the only way that we can have a relationship with God now is through the blood of Christ, through his death and resurrection.
Well, you know, we have science that proves that we didn't need that sort of thing to create the earth. We didn't need a being to come down and touch his finger on the earth and all these trees sprouted up everywhere. And you know what I'm saying? We have theories, scientific theories, that prove that the earth came together because of this big cosmos of chemicals and different environments coming together and creating this place. And over time, it got to the state that it's in now.
I hear just what you're saying, and I used to think that way for so long. But like, just my common sense really does have to say, wait a minute, that building is pretty well designed. But when I look at you, or I look at the eyeball of my little baby, and I say, look at how well and beautifully designed a human being is. I mean, you can walk, you can talk, you can think, you can come up with these answers all on the fly. The most complicated computers in the world can't do what your eyes can do in 2 seconds, would take it hours to do.
I believe everything on this earth was accidental or created by man. So.
Well, yeah, I know. I think that you were made with a purpose and for an important reason, and that we're having this conversation not just by accident, and that's what I personally think. And you're a really nice girl, and I appreciate you talking with us. Mm-hmm. And oh man, my heart sort of breaks, because I want you to know that there's a God, and I want you to know that he sent Christ to die for you. And the fact that you want to live, I don't want to die either. And the Bible says that Jesus Christ has abolished and destroyed death and brought life and immortality to light through the gospel. And so I so want you to just try to be honest and open with God and just surrender your life to Him and see what happens.
I will definitely think about
Anyway,
this conversation.
think about it. Sometimes a professing atheist seems to be so stubborn they just don't want to believe in God. They want absolute proof. Well, Mr. or Mrs. Atheist, there is absolute proof. God says that He will show Himself to you personally if you'll do one thing. Listen to what Jesus said in the Bible. He that has my commandments and keeps them, he it is that loves me, and he that loves me shall be loved by my Father, and I will love him and will manifest myself to him. So here Jesus is saying He will manifest or reveal Himself to you if you will obey His commandments. Now, does that mean Jesus will appear before your eyes or you'll hear His voice? No. Jesus means that He will demonstrate His reality and His power by changing your heart if you will obey the gospel. Now, what does that mean? It means to stop thinking you know everything there is to know and admit that you could be wrong about God. Listen to your conscience and say, God, if you're there, I know I've sinned against you. Please forgive me. Change my heart. Make me the person that you want me to be. And this day I commit to trust and obey Jesus Christ, who died to save me. If you'll do that, God promises to show Himself to you. Now, either that's true or it isn't. So that's the challenge. What are you going to do? So in conclusion, we've been talking about how to share your faith with an atheist. And you do it the same way you'd share your faith with anyone else. Remember, the atheist is your friend, not your enemy. Don't argue with him. Simply help him to see that he's really an agnostic, a person who doesn't know if there's a God. And then help him by showing him that in his heart, he knows that he's done wrong, that he needs God's forgiveness, and you do that by swinging to the conscience with the 10 Commandments.
Apologetics are like bait. Now, if you go fishing with bait and no hook, you're not going to get any fish. You may get some fat, happy fish that get away, but if you want to be effective, you use the bait to disguise the hook. When the fish come around, you pull the hook in. The bait is apologetical argument. You use different baits for different people or different fish. The hook is God's law. That is the 10 Commandments.
That's right, because everybody knows when you bring out those commandments that they've violated them, that they've broken them, and that they're going to need God's forgiveness on the day of judgment. And it's a good, strong hook that we should never fail to use when we're sharing our faith.
So if you want to look into this teaching further, we have a book that can be helpful to you. It's called God Doesn't Believe in Atheists, Proof the Atheist Doesn't Exist, and the Evidence Bible, very comprehensive Bible, which has been commended by Josh McDowell, Franklin Graham, and D. James Kennedy, and also that tract.
There's a tract called the Atheist Test, and it's wonderful. It takes an atheist through the test to show him that he's really an agnostic, and then presents the message of salvation to him. Also, to really educate yourself in the principles of sharing your faith the way Jesus did, visit our website, www.wayofthemaster.com.
To purchase a copy of this program or other helpful resources, please visit our website, www.wayofthemaster.com, or contact us at 877-496-8688. You may also write us at P.O. Box 1172, Bellflower, California, 90706. Be sure to catch the next episode of The Way of the Master.